prepared. That was prepared.
So are we excited? It's our first show for Live Desk.
Yeah,
it's
going to be an epic show.
I know, hopefully we don't hashtag stuff up, so please bear with us while you're watching.
It'll be very good.
Now we have a lot in store for you. We're going to take a look at how local businesses are dealing with the horrible weather Wollongong has been having recently.
And with Anzac Day steadily approaching this weekend, we have a special story by Amy Farrell, who has done a story on Anzac Day activities in the area.
We also have the girls from the Tertangala with this week's Tert Talk, discussing their latest issue, 2015 A Nerd Odyssey. But first, let's hear from Sally about the news of the day.
Scammers are taking advantage of the New South Wales weather disaster by falsely claiming to fundraise, asking for money for raffle tickets. The State Emergency Service has warned the public that it is not requesting donations and should ignore calls from individuals claiming they are the SES looking to fundraise. In international news, 21-year-old Eloise Parry from Britain has died after taking a lethal dose of diet pills she bought online. Doctors never had a chance of saving her after she had taken 8 diet pills, 6 more than a lethal dose. Children as young as 7 are being diagnosed with clinical anxiety. Doctors say 1 in 10 kids suffer from anxiety, and this could severely affect them going into adulthood. Some of the most common sources for kids with anxiety include being separated from their parents or their parents getting divorced, natural disasters like floods, fear of dogs, and being scared of the dark. 2 research chimpanzees have been given a form of legal recognition usually reserved only for people. A petition filed by the Non-Human Rights Project claimed Hercules and Leo, 2 young male chimps used in research at Stony Brook University on Long Island, are being unlawfully detained. The New York Supreme Court issued a writ of habeas corpus, meaning an inmate is brought to court so it can be determined if they are imprisoned lawfully or not. Well, if Kim Kardashian's behind hasn't already broken the internet, her little sister, Kylie Jenner, has dominated social media with some amusing and some cringeworthy photos of fans participating in the Kylie Jenner challenge. Scores of teenage girls and a handful of boys shared photos and videos of themselves attempting to achieve pouty lips with terrifying results. Some used empty bottles or glasses as suction devices to plump their lips, while a few claimed a vacuum cleaner was involved. Almost all attempts ended in bruised and swollen mouths. Various medical professionals have already issued stern warnings against the practice, saying it could result in permanent damage. And that's the news for you today.
Thank you for that, Sally. Well, with the awful weather tearing through Wollongong recently, multimedia reporter Eva Davis-Bormans is on the scene to look at how business are dealing with it.
Rain and gale force winds have lashed the Illawarra coast today. It's just halfway through autumn and the region has already seen its coldest day since last winter, with a top of only 17 degrees. For some local businesses, it's a cruel taste of what this winter will bring, with crowds dropping dramatically after the Easter holidays. North Kiosk manager Mark Pearson says the quietest days are those with strong wind and rain.
And we try and make it as comfortable as possible in here. Luckily we've got the heaters in before the cold weather hit.
The rain and cold weather is set to stay until Thursday. Eva Davis-Bormans, UOWTV.
Well, Eva didn't look her most dry there, did she
No,
guys?
definitely not.
I know, I'm surprised. I'm actually happy she survived, taking those shots at the beach.
I reckon. You were saying the other day, yeah.
I know. We know how windy and how wild the beach can get when we've got storms approaching, so...
It's glad to know she survived.
I'm definitely hobbling in my house at the moment. I don't want to leave, but we're now going to take a quick break, and when we return, we will be joined by Amy Farrell, and we'll be discussing the upcoming Anzac centenary.
Welcome, Amy, to the desk.
Hi, how are you guys?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you.
I was just wondering if you could tell us just a bit about your video before we show it.
Yeah, so on Saturday, Dale Roots and I went to Thelmere, just up near Picton. They had an early Anzac Day memorial ceremony going on. So they had a march and a service, and they had lots of memorabilia on display, including a lot of vehicles and stuff. They did it a week early so that the veterans in the local area could march for their local area, as well as on Anzac Day they can go to the city and march with their unit sort of thing. So yeah, we just got some good shots and talked to some people there.
What can you tell us about like the youth and what they're thinking of Anzac Day? Because it's really good seeing as though, because we're approaching the 100-year anniversary of World War I. What are the youth, what are their opinions on it? Like keeping the tradition alive of celebrating?
Yeah, well, I talked to a few veterans, and although they're not youth, they did say that they don't think that the tradition of Anzac Day will die out. I suppose the youth are taking more the two-up approach sort of thing to it, making that a bit more of a tradition. I myself personally haven't ever played two-up, so I don't really know what all the fuss is about. But I think everyone still understands why we celebrate Anzac Day, but maybe just taking a bit more of a, not fun approach, but a bit more light-hearted approach, I suppose.
Well, on that note, let's take a look at what you've done for us.
Wallandilly Shire paused to remember its fallen today, with locals gathering to commemorate the Anzac centenary at a ceremony in Thelmere.
Today, 100 years on from Gallipoli, we remember 400,000 Australians who volunteered.
The service was part of a larger memorial with hundreds of pieces of memorabilia on display, including around a dozen historical vehicles. Local RSL President Tim Bennett-Smith said the event was the result of years of planning with groups across the Macarthur region.
A celebration of our service history in the Shire. It's a chance for the community to come along and thank the local veterans.
With a week until the Anzac centenary itself, Australians of all ages are taking time to remember those who have served the nation.
I'm proud of them. My hat's off to you, and I tell you what, I wish I was with you.
The ceremony was held a week early to allow veterans to join the Anzac Day March in Sydney, while a local ceremony will take place in Campbelltown's Mawson Park this Saturday.
It seems like an age ago, the day he went to war. It seems like a different man who walked all those years before.
Amy Farrell, UOWTV.
Yeah. Well, we saw some memorabilia in that video there, Amy. Can you tell us, do you remember any particular items you can describe for us?
They had a lot of model planes of different wartime planes. There was also, my favourite piece was this bust of kind of a woman, and it had like a collage of different photos of women at war over it. So it was kind of a bit of a tribute to women at war, and there was a little diary of a woman who went to war sort of thing just sitting next to it. So that was my favourite piece.
Incredible.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Do you feel, with obviously this being a century since the war in Gallipoli, do you feel the atmosphere of the area you were at was any different to, say, previous years, or was it pretty consistent?
I feel that everyone was, you could tell that it was a lot more special sort of thing. The ceremony was quite similar to the ceremonies I've been to before, but there was a lot more veterans there, there was a lot more people there. And because it was the centenary, that's why they had a lot of the memorabilia and stuff like that. So it was kind of a bigger deal, but much of the ceremony and everything was the same as other years, I think, yeah.
Do you think having it like a obvious celebration, or not celebration, sorry, more or less, you know, a commemoration for those that have fallen a week prior and including veterans so they can access that, do you think that's unifying our nation a bit more? So it's more or less more than just a single day, but now we're trying to remember overall?
Yeah, well, I think because coming up to the centenary, it's been in the news a lot more, like over the last 2 weeks almost. People have been talking about it, and I think it's still appropriate to have it a week before, like it's still in the general area, the general time period of when Anzac Day is happening. So yeah, I think that it was good.
Thank you very much,
No
Amy,
worries,
for joining us in the
guys,
studio.
that's all good. Thank you.
After the break, we will be looking at the Lawn Bowling World Cup, and we'll be having our very first Tert Talk, so stay put, you won't want to miss it.
The Illawarra will host its 10th Bowls World Cup this week, as over 20 nations take to the indoor green at the Warilla Bowls and Recreation Club. Around 50 players will compete in this year's competition, with many coming from as far afield as Spain, Scotland and the United States. Defending men's singles champion Jeremy Henry says players travel across the world to contest the tournament every year, and with good reason.
Facilities at this club is unbelievable. I've played all over the world with Com Games and World Championships, and I've never seen a club like this and anywhere in the world.
Warilla Bowls Club General Manager Philip Kipp says that despite the star-studded lineup, the event has managed to maintain its local atmosphere.
Being a community event, we've got a lot of volunteers. We've probably got 60 volunteers during the course of the event, so they get very much involved and it becomes a real community event, and that's what we're very happy about.
It's that local knowledge which Jeremy is hoping to take advantage of, although this year he'll have a little extra motivation to win.
There's a guy from Ireland who actually I started playing bowls with when I was 13. He was the best man at my wedding and he's representing Ireland, so for me it would be perfect if we met in the final.
The competition will continue over the week and a full crowd is expected for the finals on Thursday. Alex Doust, UOWTV.
The story there, and it's really cool that Wollongong are hosting its 10th bowls. It's an international competition.
How good is
as
it?
well.
20 nations coming into Wollongong just to have this bowling competition, and it's that brings in some tourism, doesn't it?
Most definitely. I think it's definitely a sport that's overlooked. It's not as dominant as other sports. I think it's not as physical, obviously, but have you ever played before? There's a lot of skill.
I haven't.
No.
There's one end of the ball, and whenever I do it, it's extremely messy. But
That's all right. Now it's time to catch up with the people at the Tertangala for this week's Tert Talk with Beck and Jared. This week's issue is about 2015, A Nerd Odyssey.
I'm really excited for this new issue. So we have some really interesting things coming up in it.
Okay.
We have a lot of movie speculation coming up.
So what are some of the movies we're speculating on?
Okay, well, Zoe Simmons wrote a really interesting article on how Disney, because they recently bought Spider-Man, they're going to reboot it.
Okay.
I am super devastated.
Why?
Because Andrew Garfield and I know Emma Stone's dead.
So she's super dead.
Yeah, which is not in my mind though, because Emma Stone with blonde hair in my mind, she's just alive.
She lives
on.
Okay.
She lives on within us, Jared.
So she's speculating on the Spider-Man movie coming up?
Yeah. So
because it's getting rebooted.
It would be really cool if they got Spider-Man in on the Avengers, because Spider-Man is my favorite superhero. You know, I remember when I was a kid, we had Tobey Maguire.
Not even close, Toby.
That's what I said.
No, you said Tony.
I mean, tomato.
Okay.
Tobey Maguire. You had Kirsten Dunst.
Yep.
It was a really awesome.
The dream team.
I mean, it got really bad, but when I was when I was a child, I was like, this is the best thing ever.
So then also we have coming up, what is it? The gender and sexuality in the cosplay.
So there was an amazing article on sexism in cosplay by Zoe Ridgway.
Yep.
I mean, I'm always for the feministy articles. They get my buttons
Okay.
Anyway.
So what is she talking about in that?
She's talking about, obviously in geek culture, it's sort of male-centered rather than female. I mean, there's just, statistically speaking, there's just more men in geek culture than women.
Yep.
So we're the minority, and often a lot of times, sexism just goes hand in hand with geek culture, it seems. So when we're having problems with the cosplay, which is, of course, dressing up as your favorite character from a book or TV show or movie, a lot of problems, it comes into the whole fake geek girl sort of side of things.
Okay. So so we're all clear, fake geek girl is...
So fake geek girl is sort of like the argument that, attractive women can't be into geek culture because they're only
attractive.
Yeah, I mean, how dare they? They're only interested in, of course, the attention of nerdy guys, because, I mean, who isn't interested in the attention of nerdy guys? I mean, the neckbeard gets me all hot and bothered.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, so it has that whole issue there where, women are now sort of having to defend their interest in geek culture.
Yeah.
Which, men just don't have to do. And it can be really off-putting for people coming into the subculture, if they suddenly have to defend what they're interested in.
Right.
And another really interesting article we had coming up, you actually wrote in.
Yeah. So I wrote the debate piece for the dividing the line between privacy and technology.
Yes.
So I go in, so it's me and another guy, it's written an article talking about where is this sort of fine line between how far can we push the technological boundaries, which we're doing all the time, and how that's like constantly seemingly to be encroaching on privacy issues.
Like, should we be pursuing technology if it's going to come at the cost of our privacy?
Right. So my like position was, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I know, because you're a com-sci student, and that's
True
just
facts.
like your thing.
Yeah.
But I
don't care. Everyone can know. I don't care at all. So, and that's like part of the thing that was writing the article.
But it's like the principle of the matter.
What do you mean the principle? I want to, like, okay.
It's not that I have something to hide. It's that I don't want to have to worry about hiding it. I don't want to have to worry about it coming out.
You're already better than the other guy who was in the article. Now I'm defending it.
Sharon, this is going on television.
No, it's fine.
But yeah, you guys can read up more about that in the magazine itself. And Jared's going to set up a voting system online so you can tell him how badly he won.
Yeah, which is going to be super badly won. That's how badly I'm going to win. But Beck and Jared, thanks for watching. Yep.
Okay, guys, so are you a nerd or a geek?
See, this confused me. I always thought nerds, were into the sciences and the mathematics, and then geeks were into the comic books and the comic movies.
No,
That's
it's the other way around. The geeks are the academics, and the nerds are into the comics, like DC. DC or Marvel?
Marvel, for sure.
Marvel.
I don't know what either of those are. I dropped maths and science in high school. I failed all those exams since year 8, so you've lost me in that conversation. I'm nothing.
Okay, are you a jock, Sally?
Well, I play sports, so maybe.
Very good then. Cornwall community is still coming down after a huge high on the weekend. Cornwall had its first art fair this week, and multimedia reporter Eva Davis-Bowmans was on the scene.
The festival is part of a campaign by the Cornwall Revitalisation Action Group to bring the suburb back to life and back to its former beauty. President of the Cornwall Chamber of Commerce, Paul Boltwood, says people really wanted something to do, and public reaction to the event has been fantastic.
It's more of a case of getting people into Cornwall, showing people, what Cornwall's about, highlighting Cornwall, and walking through the beautiful, escarpment.
107 paintings and drawings and 30 sculptures were featured, alongside live music and live artists who worked on their paintings throughout the day. The festival is on track to becoming a yearly event in the Wollongong calendar. Eva Davis-Bowmans, UOWTV.
That painting that girl was doing was really cool.
Yeah, well, art's really getting exposed now recently, isn't it? Didn't Uni had like an exhibit the other day, didn't they?
Yeah.
I was over there. And
yeah, they had an art exhibit as well. But I think
it's good to see. It's just good to see that. I was going to say that the art exhibitions are becoming interactive as well. So not only can you talk to the artists that produce the work, but they're actually producing their work on the scene as you go and watch them.
And as you saw, it's like encapsulating different areas of culture as well. They had live music acts, so you're drawing a bigger crowd, more appreciation of art. So I think it's definitely a sector that can keep growing.
Yeah.
In UOW news, our very own Sally covered the UWS versus UOW on Saturday, which was a head start on the Uni Games.
It was a cold, rainy Friday today in Wollongong, but the university kept spirits alive indoors. The UOW Sports Hub hosted a mini uni games against the University of Western Sydney in basketball and netball, with both male, female and mixed teams competing.
Are you excited for uni games coming up in Wagga?
Of course, always excited. Be about third or fourth year I've been, so rearing to go again, yeah.
And Juan, can you tell us about the game?
Yeah, the game was pretty good. We just had to keep our defense really stable mainly, but we had some the shots were going in, so we won the game.
Even I made an appearance on the court.
Hi guys, Sally here again from UOWTV Multimedia. I'm about to get on the court to play. I've got my braids in my hair. I even bought new netball shoes the other day. Wish me luck, guys.
With no blood, no tears, but plenty of sweat, we were victorious, and it felt even better having Baxter by our side. I'm Sally Krajicic, reporting for UOW TV.
So, those new shoes, Sally, how were they? Were they worth your purchase?
I was going to bring him into this. I literally bought them the day before because I've been playing in like shocking shoes all season. So
Any excuse to buy a new pair of shoes. But
it was good. It was a really, really fun day. Women's basketball, we unfortunately lost, but the men's basketball, the mixed netball, and the women's netball, we smashed it.
Wasn't there meant to be outdoor sports as
well,
well, yeah?
So unfortunately, we were meant to have Quidditch, which I thought was going to be really cool to shoot, but then Quidditch, Oztag and football unfortunately got cancelled due to the rain, but we made the most of it indoors. I mean,
fair enough.
Spirits were all high.
One last question. Did UWS have a mascot there?
They did. So they also have a duck, just like Baxter. They have
Are you being for real? The duck is ours.
Yeah, it's our duck. Baxter was, they had like a little head clash on a little bit. It was pretty fun to watch, but he was on our sideline supporting us. So, yeah, it was a fun day. I enjoyed it. We won, so go UOW.
Well, on that bombshell, thanks for joining us this week on Newsdesk, and be sure to catch all our work on UOWTV Multimedia on YouTube. We'll catch you guys next week.
See you later.
#Newsdesk.
See you later, guys.
Yeah.